Okay, so let's talk Indiana Fever. Before the stretch of games beginning with the win against the Washington Mystics, I posted in my communities tab a poll asking would you take the higher or lower of 2.5 wins over the stretch of 6 games? Because I said that there would be 5 winnable games with the game against the Connecticut Sun not being one. So they went and they handled their business against the Washington Mystics. They lost against the Sun as I thought they would. And they came and they got a win against the Dream to start their 3 game home stretch. So far, so good. There are a lot of people upset after the Connecticut Sun game. I wasn't really sure why as far as the play on the court went, because I completely understood Coach Side's decision to pull all the starters. Might as well get some more rest. This game's out of hand, and to leave Boston in so she can kind of get herself going more. They're going to need that going forward. I was fine with all of that. Post game comments, obviously not fine with. And she knew that that was a mistake. That's why when she was asked the same question at the pregame shoot around interview before the Dreams game, she laughed it off and said, "Yeah, we're not going to talk about that today." It seems like every time a microphone is in front of her, there's a mistake. I always laugh at the media guy. I have to get his name when he's just like lurking in the background. He's tense every time she's speaking. When the players talk, he's kind of relaxed. But when Chrissy Sides gets on that mic and he's trying to act like he's just in the background, not paying attention, you can see the stress on his face. I find that hilarious. I watch just to see his reactions at this point. So the post game comments about no effort and the tone that she delivered it with, along with exposing the Caitlin Clark comments, all Bush League stuff. No doubt about it. No question. But I had no issue with the way that she coached the game against the Sun as far as pulling the players. Now, I did see a lot of people were upset with the way that Caitlin Clark was used or not used in the Atlanta Dream game. And I'll be honest with you here. I had no issues. Honestly, Caitlin Clark played the most minutes. She only had 11 shots, but Aaliyah Boston took 21. That's not going to happen every game. That's an outlier thing. Just like Nalissa Smith, she only had 8 shots. That's not going to happen every game. The ball just flowed Aaliyah Boston's way, tied her career high. It's a career high for a reason. That's not going to happen every single game. Kelsey Mitchell, 7-14, went very cold in the second half, along with Boston for a while. But, 14 shots, that's going to happen. Everybody else is pretty much in the range of what they normally do. It's just Aaliyah Boston taking so many shots kind of skewed everything. But Caitlin Clark was in the middle of the action. Her usage rate was pretty high. She had 6 assists, 7 turnovers, at least 3 that weren't her fault, but that's beside the point. She was the one making the play. I know, so it could have been 9 assists. The ball was in her hands. A little while in the third quarter, not so much. Offense was bad the entire third quarter, period. But while Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell were cooking in the first half, a lot of it was coming out of Caitlin Clark's, her gravity, her ability to draw the traps. And I said in the previous video that the only way they would stop trapping her and blitzing her so much, as we know, she had the highest blitz rate in the WNBA, would be for her teammates to start taking it personally and punishing them every time they did so. And so when they did, she got the ball right out early to Boston. Boston either went to work, and what I was most happy to see was the way she was making that next pass. Caitlin Clark had a lot of hockey assists, right? And I've been complaining about Aaliyah Boston holding the ball too long and waiting for them to swarm her down low, and then she throws some weak pass under duress. I call them PUDs, passes under duress. They're easy to intercept. They're easy to rotate and recover back to. She was throwing crisp, sharp passes ahead of the help defense, and that was getting people some wide open shots, and they were knocking them down. They've been knocking them down pretty much since the break at an average rate, a league average rate. So I was encouraged by what I saw. And it won't be whole games like that. Sometimes it'll just be a quarter or two where Caitlin Clark has to just keep doing a boring thing. Sorry to say it, but that's what made Brady so great. That's what makes LeBron so great. His ability to just keep doing the right play time after time after time. And eventually, over a large enough sample size, it just wears you down. If Aaliyah Boston keeps punishing teams on a roll like that by making the right pass or going to work one-on-one down low, then eventually they'll have to defend that pick and roll differently. And you'll start seeing different looks for Caitlin Clark. The same with Mitchell. The same with Smith. I think a lot of games Smith has the advantage against whoever's defending her because out on the perimeter, she's faster than a lot of the bigs. She has a decent handle. She's a great shot creator. Probably the best shot creator on the team. She can get those feet in the paint that Coach Sides likes to talk about a lot just off of her driving ability. Never mind her back to the basket game. So there will be games where we see Nalissa Smith be that one who takes 21 shots too, and Caitlin Clark might only have 11. but she could have shot better. 1 for 6 from three. She could have hit 3 of those. 3 from 11 for the field. She could have went 5, 6 for 11. Would have had a better game. But most of the action was coming from Caitlin Clark. And, she was involved a lot, besides a little patch in that third quarter where everything was bad. So, yeah, I didn't really have a problem with the way that Caitlin Clark was used. She obviously could have shot better. We saw that she stayed around after the game and got some shots up with her boyfriend there. And she didn't get to the free throw line at all. And that's not something that's going to happen every game either. So really, yeah, no issue there. Now, if it's something that continues over a 3 or 4 game span, now we have an issue. But one game, I'm not gonna overreact. Feel like they did exactly what they need to do as far as punishing the matchup that they had. Nobody could do anything with Boston, and they have to help Caitlin Clark out by making the team's player honest. Yeah. So I'm not gonna dump on Christy size right now. We all know upgrades need to be made across the board. Right now, we're fine, right? What I want to look at is the playoff race because as teams start to play more games, and as I highlighted, they have a very winnable stretch ahead of them. Actually, they have a very favorable schedule for the rest of the season now. The Dallas Wings have fallen below. They're in 11th with 3-8. The Sparks, they're only 1 game above at 4-9. The Chicago Sky just took another loss. They're 4-8, and they're having some problems figuring that out. The Fever are in position to play themselves right into the playoff race. They are right there where they could probably get that last playoff position if they want it. And even more in the second half of the season. Who knows? So tomorrow's games, Father's Day. I need the Fever to beat the Sky, and I need the Sparks to beat the Dream. I don't really care what happens in the Storm Mercury game. What's the over-under on times they're going to show Caitlin Clark's father? I'm going to say at least 8 camera pans. I'm going to set the over-under at 8 camera pans to Caitlin Clark's father. Which one you taking? Over or under? I'm going with the over on that one. I don't know. I'm not sure what all the pessimism is about, honestly. Besides, people want to see Caitlin Clark score 30 and 40. And let me tell you, it's about to happen. It's gonna happen. She's gonna get 30 at least 3 or 4 more times this season. She might touch 40. She hasn't even shot great yet. I just think everybody needs to relax and not just look at everything from a micro point of view and just scrutinize every single play, but let them cook a little bit. Like they still haven't got Fag Bentley yet. I feel like all bad media clips aside, all bad sound bites aside, they are right where they should be playing wise and record wise. They haven't even gotten Fag Bentley back yet. And they're already about to take over the last playoff spot. Still have a lot of window to grow. I don't think they can grow into the level of, the Minnesota Lynx or, the Connecticut Sun or the New York Liberty. I don't think they'll reach those levels this season. There's still some moves that have to be made personnel wise. Still some development that has to be made personnel wise. Caitlin Clark included. So I don't think they'll reach those levels, but I do think they can hold on to one of those last playoff positions if that's what they're trying to do. Absolutely. Same with the Sparks, but I'll talk about them on the next video. But those two teams, I see them. Yeah, I see them both doing good things going forward. Now, I do have some people that I want to address. Tarouzi, Rosati, the reporter guy. There's a few people on my docket, but I want to keep this video positive, so I'll end this here. But I will be back with another one soon, and I'll see you guys on that one. Until then, peace.